Bursting onto the PGA Tour in the brightest way possible, Rickie Fowler stood out among the rest in many different ways. But with no wins in over 2 years now, and slipping out of the World Top 100, there's a lot to unravel here. So let's start from the very beginning. In 1988 in Murrieta, California, Lynn and Rod Fowler gave birth to their son Rickie Yutaka Fowler, his middle name coming from his Japanese grandfather. Rickie was first introduced to golf at age 3, when his grandfather handed him a golf club and took him to the driving range in California. For the first few years, Fowler only played golf at the driving range and was entirely self-taught. But it wasn't golf that had young Rickie Fowler hooked. It was his first love for motocross, where Rickie saw his future heading. His father Rod was the one who introduced him to bikes. He himself was a professional, winning the 1986 Baja 1000 dirt bike race while racing for Team Yamaha. Although Rod would have loved his son to follow in his footsteps, he also realised what talent he had at golf. Rod owned a trucking company and used to deliver sand to the local driving range in exchange for free golf balls for Rickie to hit when he was a child. Fowler was clearly doing something right, as he broke 70 at the small age of 12 years old. Sadly, Fowler's dreams of becoming a professional motocross rider ended. He was involved in an accident prior to his freshman year in high school, which resulted in a couple of broken bones in his foot. It was at this point Rickie decided to put all his focus into golf. Rickie was a little more edgy than the other kids at school. He brought a little more charisma to everything he did. Known as the BMX motocross rider turned golfer, Rickie started to implement some of his motocross fashion sense into the golfing world. He played golf competitively throughout his high school career, but it was in 2007 in his senior year of high school when Fowler really started to take off. He won the SW League final with a total of 64-69 and led his team to the state final. After high school, Rickie attended Oklahoma State University, and that's the reason behind him wearing orange on Sundays to this date. His amateur career got off to a fast start, representing the US in the 2007 Walker Cup, winning 3 of his 4 matches, and then in the same year going on to win the Sunahama Amateur, and then a month later the Players Amateur. The following year he defended the Sunahama Amateur title, and even qualified for the US Open. He was one of 3 amateurs to make the cut, and ended the tournament tied 60th. After spending 36 weeks as #1 ranked amateur in the world, and now very much in the spotlight, Rickie decided to play his last Walker Cup, winning all 4 matches and helping the US to victory. He finished the year winning the Ben Hogan Award and then made the leap to turn pro. So in 2009, Fowler began his journey on the nationwide tour, and it didn't take long for him to impress. After losing in a playoff, Titleist signed Rickie, and months later he joined the PGA Tour. Not only was his dress code making an impact, but so was his golf. In his first 2 tournaments, Fowler finished 7th and 3rd. After a 3-way playoff, Fowler's score of 18 under par included a hole-in-one in his final round. Fowler secured his card for the 2010 season via qualifying school, finishing tied 15th. The future looked bright, and everybody knew who Rickie Fowler was. With his confidence sky high and his young, fearless blood running through his veins, Rickie was attacking everything, racking up 7 top 10 finishes and 3 top 25s. His runner-up performance at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, and again runner-up behind Justin Rose at the Memorial in Dublin, Ohio. It was just a matter of when will Rickie win, not if. With this standout debut season, Fowler landed a clothing sponsor with Puma and entered the top 50 official world golf rankings. His debut season didn't go unnoticed. Fowler was chosen as captain's pick for the US Ryder Cup team. At just 21 years old, he became the youngest US Ryder Cup player of all time, and only European Sergio Garcia was younger when he made his debut in 1999. At the end of the year, Fowler won Rookie of the Year, controversially claiming the award over Ireland's Rory McIlroy. The following year, Rickie couldn't follow up his incredible first year on tour. He did, however, finish 5th at the Open at St George's, and still managed 4 top 10s and 11 top 25s, pushing him up to 32nd in the world rankings. All in all, another good year, but still no win. People were starting to talk about this new hype kid on tour. Several runner-up finishes and a dozen top 10s, even showing up in majors, but still without a win. It was May 2012 at the Wells Fargo Championship in Charlotte, the first hole of a sudden death playoff between Rory McIlroy, DA Points and Rickie Fowler. Rickie stiffs a gap wedge and rolls into birdie putt for his first PGA Tour victory, but it didn't take long for Fowler to become Mr. Runner-Up once again. Rickie entered the Players Championship 24th in the world. He had a chance to force another playoff on the 18th green, but pushed it right and missed out to eventual winner, Matt Kuchar. This was his 5th second place finish in his short career. 2013 was a very poor year by last year's standards. He finished the year with 5 top 10s and 5 top 25s, including yet again another runner-up finish to Adam Scott at the Australian PGA Championship. Always the bridesmaid and never the bride, it seems to be for Rickie. After a tie for 5th at the Masters, Fowler had his best finish at the 2014 US Open at Pinehurst, North Carolina, when he was yet again runner-up with Eric Compton at 1 under. Best finishes for both of them at a major, but they were both 8 strokes back from Martin Kaymer. The great golf continued for Rickie at the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool, when he started 6 strokes behind and ended up finishing yet again tied second with Sergio Garcia, 2 shots back from Rory McIlroy. At the PGA Championship the same year, Fowler, Mickelson and McIlroy all battled it out in a rain-soaked day at Valhalla. Rickie held the lead for the majority of the day and finally broke his duck and ended his run of runner-ups by finishing 3rd. He was only the 3rd player, along with Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, to have finished in the top 5 in all 4 majors in one calendar year, but the first not to win. He finished the year with 10 top 10 finishes and moved up to 10th in the world rankings. It's not what Rickie was accomplishing was bad, it's just that we knew he could do better, and more painfully, he knew he could do better. He just needed that extra gear to get over the line. 2015 was that year, hell for leather, all eggs in one basket, leaving nothing behind. He started the year with a good finish, tied 12th at the Masters, and then found himself in a playoff once again. He played the last 6 holes 6 under par, including an eagle at the par 5 16th. He was joined by Sergio Garcia and Kevin Kisner in a 3-hole playoff. Garcia was eliminated, which left Kisner, who stiffed his tee shot at the 17th, to 12 feet. Fowler responded by putting it to 5 feet. Kisner missed and Fowler slotted home to take the championship. He'd finally got over his demons and things were starting to go his way, and he was beginning to live up to his name. He won again in July at the Scottish Open and once again in September at the Deutsche Bank Championship, beating Henrik Stenson by 1 stroke. With 7 top 10s and 3 victories, this was Rickie's highest earning year, racking up $5.7 million. 2016 was a busy year, and maybe had something to do with him not winning so much on the PGA Tour. However, he did manage another win on the European Tour at the Abu Dhabi HSBC Championship, but that was it for Fowler on the European Tour, as he announced he wouldn't be defending his title at the Scottish Open due to a busy schedule and playing at the Olympics. He doesn't regret his decisions, even though he finished tied 37th, because it was his first time he laid eyes on his soon-to-be wife, Alison Stoke. He finished the year in true Rickie Fowler tradition in another playoff, but lost out to Hideki Matsuyama at the Waste Management. Rickie had his highest earning year in 2017. He racked up 16 top 25s, consisting of 10 top 10s, 2 thirds, 2 runner-ups, and a win at the Honda Classic for his 4th PGA Tour win. The first time in his career that he'd preserved his 54-hole lead to win. That win saw him move into the top 10 world rankings. His major form was as good as ever, finishing tied 5th in the US Open and the PGA Championship, giving him his 7th major top 5 finish with no win. Even with $6.2 million in the bank, another win and several good finishes, Rickie still wasn't happy. With his career only ever going up, it seemed Rickie had hit his peak. And from here, it was where it all started to go downhill. Fowler started the season at the OHL Classic at Mayakoba, where he shot rounds 65, 67, 67, 67, but still wasn't good enough, finishing 2nd behind Patton Kizzire. This was Rickie's 12th Tour runner-up finish, and he became the 27th PGA Tour player to reach $30 million in career earnings. He then found himself the 54-hole leader at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, his 6th 54-hole lead of his career, something he had only converted once. Sadly, in the final round, Fowler shot 2 over to finish tied 11th. Later that year, he found himself in contention at the Masters, posting a final score of 14 under, missing out by 1 stroke to Patrick Reed. This was his 8th top 5 finish in a major. The misery continued as he finally qualified for the Ryder Cup, but was yet again on a losing side, losing 17.5 to 10.5, also losing his single match to Sergio Garcia. At the 2019 Waste Management Open, Rickie Fowler held a 4-stroke lead in the final round. As the pressure mounted, he lost the lead, but Rickie dug deep and, like all great players, brought it back to win by 2 strokes. This was Rickie's last win to date, and a lot has happened in his personal life since. He got married, he landed a multi-year deal with TaylorMade to use their balls and gloves, and long-term coach Butch Harmon retired. It later came to the public eye that Butch didn't think that Fowler was focused enough. He said when speaking to Sky Sports, "We had a big conversation last year, and he didn't like it. You gotta decide, are you going to be a Kardashian, or or a golf pro. It was starting to appear that Rickie wasn't as focused as we all first thought. Even 6-time major champion Nick Faldo started to take shots on Twitter about Fowler missing the upcoming Masters. Good news is, if he misses the Masters, he can shoot another 6 commercials. He also pointed out that Rickie is in it for the money, and asked the public which would they rather have. The common joke on tour is that Rickie has more endorsements than victories. He has deals with Cobra, Puma, Farmers Insurance, Grant Thornton, TaylorMade, Rocket Mortgage, and Mercedes, and spends 30 days of the year dealing with corporate clients. Rick was coming somewhat of a joke on tour, and despite being one of the most popular, they were still getting his name wrong.
Welcome, Rickie Fowler.
When Butch left, Fowler worked more with his son, Claude Harmon III, before eventually decided to go with John Tillery. Their goal was to help make the swing more efficient and repeatable. Speaking to the PGA Tour, Fowler said, "I like his philosophy about the swing, not necessarily trying to put it in positions, but using the body properly. With the body working correctly, there's really one place for the arms and club to go. So it wasn't about Rickie trying to get longer off the tee to win a major like people first thought. It was about trying to create a repeatable swing that performs in those pressure moments." If we just look at Rickie's standout year and compare it to 2021, he has actually got longer, but so has everyone else, so his rank has actually gone down. In 2015, he averaged 28.44 putts around, ranking him 18th, and this season he's ranked 70th. With an average of 28.74, and this looks similar on quite a few of the stats. It's not that Rickie has got worse, it just looks like everyone has got better. Rickie has also spoke out about the tension golf is having on his marriage. "It's tough for her, she's having to deal with me at home. I'm trying to be the best husband that I can, not bringing golf back home, but when you're out on the road that long and on the grind, putting in the work at home has pretty much all been golf. A lot of people have asked, have you been able to fish much at home? Not really. It's been workout, therapy, and golf. In the past 2 years, Rickie has only managed 3 top 10s. The thing is, when we criticise Rickie, we're not saying he's achieved nothing. We just expected more. For someone of his ability to have 5 PGA Tour wins is scandalous, and for him not to close out at least one of his major top 5s is gut-wrenching. The thing that makes it worse is when you hear the people closest to him saying his head isn't in it 100%. Well, I don't believe that. There's no way he'd come that close, time after time, for nothing. All Rickie has to do now is prove to everyone he is in it and win that major, even if he has to wait as long as Sergio. It may take a long time, but Rickie Fowler will win a major.